So he talks about the importance of like this idea of apprenticeship, where you need to fit into some structure that can tell you how to act when there's so many unknowns until you can learn about the world more.
Gotcha.
So he says a child cannot live on its own. Alone, it drowns in possibility.
Yeah.
The unknown supersedes individual adaptive capacity in the beginning. It is only the transmission of historically determined behavioral patterns and secondarily their concomitant descriptions that enables survival in youth. So he's pretty much saying that kids need some sort of structure to live because there's just too much that's unknown for them.
Did you just not know a word?
I knew that I would mess it up when I read it earlier. So yes,
that's so brave of you. I don't think you've messed anything up. Not like you haven't
I
stumbled,
totally.
but like
I was gonna, okay.
you've stumbled, but like I've never heard you struggle to say a word. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean,
I'm just letting you know, he spent some time talking about like the child.
Yeah.
And the importance, the transition from childhood to adolescence also.
Well, I think you can look at, I know high schoolers aren't really like children. Like they're not adults yet, but like they're not children by any means.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, think about being in high school, and maybe this was just a me thing, but I feel like a lot more high schoolers relate to this than people would like to acknowledge.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at somebody who's like 16 and say, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? It's daunting as heck.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be some type of structure to help them figure it out. And that's what frustrates me the most about high school is that there's no structure in high school to help you navigate your passions and figure out what you really want to set your heart on and chase for not the rest of your life, but a long time, the majority of your life. I think it's so unfair to put that on, a 15-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I was a kid that like my parents didn't go to college. So like, what the heck was college? And like some of my friends in the 8th grade were like, yeah, I want to go to this college. And I'm like,
whoa,
what?
8th grade.
Oh, there were some kids I think the youngest person I personally heard say they knew what college they wanted to go to, and they did go to that college, was the 6th grade. They knew what they wanted to do. They are actually in that field at that college. I think they graduate this year.
Well, good for them.
I guess so, but like, how much of that do you think is told to them, and how much do you think is like that's what they're actually passionate about?
I mean, I'd imagine if they're graduating, they probably are into it at this point.
At this point, but I mean, how many people do you know actually do that? It's like few and far between. So my point is,
well, I mean, it would be like becoming a astronaut or something, like a race car driver. Everyone wanted to do it, but like imagine actually sticking with it and making it happen.
Well, I wanted to be a rock star.
Exactly. So imagine like if you had the parents or whatever to support you and pursuing that, like you totally would have.
Oh, dude,
but
I owned a guitar when I was 8. If I actually stuck to that and I actually got the lessons that I I actually cried because I asked for lessons and I was told no. If I actually got the lessons, dude, I'd be shredding on guitar. Do you know how many years that is?
Yeah, I know.
An obscene amount. Like, we wouldn't be here right now. I'd be a big rock star.
Right.
We all just...
Yeah, you don't need to... Yeah.
All the songs, they come to my head.
So it's interesting that you brought up high school, because he talks about...
that's the next quote. In high school.
Yeah, he talks about adolescence next.
Oh, okay.
So he says that when you're a kid, you identify with your parents. They're the ones that provide that framework.
Yeah.
For you to be able to survive against all the unknown stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I mean, he says, you can see it in children that are separated too early from their parents, that they're like more depressed and anxious, and they have like physical breakdowns and stuff because of exposure to too much unknown and the incorporation of too little cultural structure.
Wow.
So that was really interesting. But so your parents provide this structure for you when you're a kid.
Okay.
And he says successful transition from childhood to adolescence means identification with the group rather than continued dependency upon the parents. So adolescence is the time where you're figuring out how to identify, with a group. So like a group of friends or
Yeah.
just kids your age in general,
Mm-hmm.
and you're relying on them for like social structure more than your parents.
Huh. Not to get too dark, but like as a parent who had malicious intent,
Mm-hmm.
even if you weren't I guess like really truly cognizant of that, if you had some type of innate understanding of that, you really could screw up your child for your own personal gain.
Oh, I mean, JP talks about that in multiple places.
Yeah.
The mother that holds on to her child forever,
Yeah.
that's exactly that story.
Yeah. Or the father that makes themselves such a big hero that like without the father and the kid's life that they'll just fail and crumble.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's all, like equally pretty tragic to do to your kid,
Right.
because it really screws up their understanding and development and growth into like adulthood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. So that's why he's talking about it, is because that's a really important developmental stage.
Yeah. That's so unfortunate
Mm-hmm.
that people do that they willingly have kids and then do that to them.
Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and leave them down below. And if you liked the video, give us a like. If you really liked it, you could even go subscribe to our channel. And if you didn't understand the video, don't worry, I didn't either. There's a link to the full video down in the description below. Thanks for watching.